When Lil Durk's 10-year-old son pulled a gun on his stepfather during a heated argument, it turned into a public scandal and sent shockwaves through his family. A child forced to step into an adult conflict in the most extreme way possible. With 7 kids, multiple co-parents, and a life that seems constantly under a microscope, Durk's role as a father has never been more complicated. As the rapper faces his own legal troubles, his family is holding on by a thread, and what happens next could change everything. Let's take a closer look at the secrets that Durk's closest circle has been keeping. Making a change. Durk's family tree has gotten pretty complex over the years, spread out across different cities, held together by history, loss, and love. With multiple children from several baby mamas, his family is as sprawling as it is fragmented. His parents and siblings have faced their own battles, with some fates sealed and others still unfolding. Now, with Durk behind bars, the weight of these connections feels heavier as his family navigates life in his absence, each member carrying their own part of the story. Lil Durk's father, Dante Banks, also now known as Big Durk, has a story that was once caught up in the streets. Back in 1993, when the rapper was still a baby, Big Durk got caught up in a major cocaine distribution case that landed him a life sentence. This wasn't just some small-time hustle. When the authorities took him down, they reportedly seized $8 million in cash. Big Durk grew up surrounded by struggle. He was the fourth of 10 kids in a family where his mom was battling addiction and his dad wasn't in the picture. By the time he was old enough to step up, 3 of his older brothers were already locked up. That left him as the man of the house, trying to hold everything together. But life wasn't kind, and after his family got evicted, Big Durk found himself living out of a car near their old home. For a while, he stuck it out in school, but eventually he turned to the streets to make money. That choice came with consequences. By the time he was arrested, he was already a father of 5, with Lil Durk being the youngest. His sentence meant he'd missed decades of his children's lives. Fast forward 26 years, and Big Durk got a second chance. He won an appeal and walked out of prison in 2019.
The feds taught me one great lesson in prison. Money don't mean nothing. They don't care nothing about no money in the feds. And then you really find out what's the real true value inside the federal prison. And that's life itself and family.
But he wasn't the same man who went in. Now, going by Abdul Haq, he turned his life around and dedicated himself to helping at-risk youth. He uses his own story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to mentor kids, showing them what happens when you choose the streets over a straight path. He calls himself the change agent and lives by it, teaching kids to avoid the mistakes he made. In an interview, Big Durk opened up about his arrest and the tough choices he faced. Authorities offered him freedom if he'd snitch on Larry Hoover, the co-founder of the Gangster Disciples. He refused, sliding his lawyer's card across the table instead. He believed that being a rat was the lowest of lows and stood firm in both his street code and his faith as a devout Muslim.
How many years did your dad get when he got locked up?
They gave him life, but they looking good for his case on the appeal back, so he will be turning the streets again. I'm gonna hold him down till he gets.
But Haq's transformation didn't come without challenges, and he believes his son is now facing the same forces that tried to pull him down. In interviews, he's been vocal about how the timing of Lil Durk's legal troubles feels way too convenient. Haq pointed out that as soon as Durk started turning his life around, staying away from gang culture, focusing on peace and embracing his faith, he got hit with an indictment. Haq expressed that it seemed mighty strange how the timing aligned. He pointed out that the minute he was out there pushing positivity, staying away from the drama, and putting on for peace in Chicago, now they wanted to come for him. Haq emphasized that Lil Durk had recently been involved in a Muslim conference advocating for peace and had honored victims of violence at his birthday concert. He pointed out that right after that, they indicted him, conveying his frustration with the system. Haq's own experiences added depth to his perspective. He recalled how during his trial, the government had offered him a deal, freedom in exchange for informing on Larry Hoover, the co-founder of the Gangster Disciples. Haq declined, holding firm to his principles, even though it meant sacrificing decades of his life. As a devout Muslim and mentor to the community, Haq now reflects on the broader implications. He believes that those trying to escape the streets and make positive changes, whether through religion, activism, or a new lifestyle, often face increased scrutiny. He said that this is what the system does. As soon as people are pushed to do right, suddenly they become the enemy. Despite the hardships, Haq remains focused on his mission. He mentors kids and uses his story to show them a way out, proving that change is possible, no matter how deep you're in. And through it all, he's standing by his son, offering words of wisdom, and fighting to make sure the next generation doesn't repeat the same mistakes. LaShonda Woodard, Lil Durk's mom, also has a story that hits hard, especially if you know what it's like growing up in a tough environment like Chicago's South Side. She's real about the struggles she faced raising Durk and his brother, balancing her own battles while trying to guide her kids. In her book 7,220 2020, named after the home their family grew up in, LaShonda laid out all the lessons she learned. She talks about how Durk wasn't a relentless kid with big dreams. From a young age, he was set on being a rapper. She recalls how he constantly asked for money to go to the studio, often emphasizing that it was always $50 he needed. She would have $45 or $47, never quite enough, but she gave him whatever she could. Durk, undeterred, found ways to make it work, hustling for every opportunity to record. That determination, she believes, is what led him to where he is today. LaShonda expressed pride in how he turned that ambition into success. She does not shy away from discussing the harder parts of their journey. Growing up in Englewood, she acknowledged how challenging the environment was and admitted that she wished she could have done more to get her family out sooner. She openly reflected on battling depression during that time, revealing that she didn't even recognize it for years. She explained that she was trying to raise her kids and provide them with the life they deserve, but it was difficult when she wasn't in the best mental or emotional space herself. Since publishing 7,220, LaShonda has been using her platform to share those lessons and give back to others. She is currently working on a second book, which will focus on her late son DT Thang and provide deeper insights into the complexities of parenting under such challenging circumstances. She does not sugarcoat her experiences, openly acknowledging her mistakes while demonstrating how much she has grown. She consistently asks her children for forgiveness, knowing she could have done better as a parent.
Oh yeah, it's very, very, very hard. And the depression and anxiety that I'm dealing with now, I dealt with as a child, and now it's gotten worse.
Now, she's in a better place, and she sees the journey differently. She knows everything happens for a reason, but despite the challenges, she's raised kids who've made their mark, with Durk leading the way. And through it all, LaShonda stays humble, grounded, and focused on turning her experiences into something meaningful, not just for her family, but for anyone who can relate to her story. Dithang, Lil Durk's older brother, was more than just family. He was a key part of Durk's OTF crew, a presence in his life that held it down, even when things got messy. Dante Banks Jr., known to most as Dithang, tragically lost his life on June 5, 2021, in a gang-related shooting outside Club O, a strip club in Harvey, Illinois. He tragically passed away at the scene, leaving his family, especially Durk, shattered. Dithang used to have Durk's corner and would be down in the trenches with him through whatever he was going through. He played a significant role in the OTF movement, supporting his brother's rise while navigating the same dangerous streets that shaped their lives. His death hit close to home, not just for Durk, but for everyone connected to their world. It followed a series of losses for OTF, including King Von's death in 2020, amplifying the weight of grief and violence that seemed to shadow their circle. LaShonda has been open about the struggles she faced raising her sons on the south side of Chicago. In her book 7,220, she reflects on the hardships, admitting that she often felt like she failed them. She's spoken about asking both of her sons for forgiveness, carrying the weight of what she couldn't provide while battling her own challenges like depression. She admitted she knew Englewood was getting worse and that she should have done more to get her kids out. She said she should have finished school, had her career in order, so they could have had a better life. Losing Dithang and seeing Durk now in prison has only deepened that regret. She's talked about how her sons deserve better, but circumstances made it hard to give them the stability they needed. Dithang's death wasn't just another statistic in Chicago's gun violence. It was personal. It came during a violent weekend when another man, Seneca Price, was killed in what police believed was a related retaliation. The streets don't forget, and for OTF, the loss was a reminder of the risks tied to their lives. LaShonda still struggles under the weight of trying to escape the cycle of violence while staying true to where she comes from. For Durk, his brother's murder became another chapter in a story already filled with loss and survival. He recognized that if he wanted to be there for his kids and give them the life they deserved, he had to make serious changes. For Durk, it became clear that becoming a better man wasn't just for himself, it was for the people he loved most, the ones who looked up to him and needed him to lead by example. The legacy. Believe it or not, Durk actually locked it down and found his forever lady. But let's be real, before he met his queen, he had a few chapters with a couple of other women. Lil Durk and Nicole Covone, better known as OTF Nikki, were high school sweethearts, straight out of the south side of Chicago. Their story started in 2008, long before the fame, the millions, or the OTF empire. Back then, it was just a young couple trying to navigate life in a rough environment. They were tight. Durk had big dreams of making it in music, and Nicole stood by him as he hustled to turn those dreams into reality. By 2011, their bond grew even stronger with the birth of their first child, Angelo Banks. Durk was only 17, still a kid himself in many ways, but becoming a father pushed him to take life a little more seriously. 2 years later, in 2013, they welcomed their second child, Bella Banks. At this point, Durk's career was starting to gain momentum, and the streets were beginning to remember his name. But as the fame rolled in, so did the complications. The music industry brought distractions, temptations, and mistakes that began to test their relationship. Nicole found out Durk had a child outside their relationship, and that was the final straw. For a young couple already dealing with the pressures of fame, parenthood, and life in Chicago, it was too much. Shortly after Bella was born, Nicole decided to end their relationship. The breakup was about Nicole choosing stability for herself and her kids over Durk, who was leaving her behind. But Nicole didn't let the split define her. She stepped out of the spotlight and got to work, building a life for herself and her kids. These days, she's in the credit restoration business, helping people rebuild their financial lives while raising Angelo and Bella. She's all about ensuring her kids have a solid foundation, even with everything that comes with being part of Durk's world. While she keeps her life private, it's clear she's focused on giving her children the stability and love they need. For Durk, Nicole and their kids were a big part of his early story. Those years shaped him, and even though they didn't work out as a couple, there's no doubt Nicole played a major role in keeping him grounded during some of his most formative years. Their split didn't change the fact that his kids became his biggest motivation to keep going, to stay focused, and to leave behind a legacy they could be proud of. While Durk's out navigating the highs and lows of fame and building his empire, Nicole is the steady force behind the scenes, making sure Angelo and Bella have the stability most kids can only dream of when their dad's a global rap star. But for Durk, family life is far from smooth sailing. The incident involving his 10-year-old son and his stepfather, Joshua Pippins, has everyone talking, not just about the actions themselves, but about what it says about Durk as a father and how he's trying to hold his family together through yet another public storm. The altercation was caught on video, making it impossible to escape the gravity of the situation. In the footage, you see Durk's son, just a kid in a red t-shirt and shorts, grabbing a gun from Pippins during what appeared to be a heated domestic argument. Pippins, dressed in orange, was seen restraining the boy's mother when the situation escalated. The boy fired the gun, and Pippins hit the ground. The visual alone is jarring. This isn't just a story about a family argument gone wrong. It's a moment where a 10-year-old felt compelled to step into an adult conflict in the most extreme way possible. From his hospital bed, Pippins addressed the situation, and his response was a mix of defense and forgiveness. He claimed he wasn't the aggressor and implied that the boy's actions were heavily influenced by his mother. Doubling down on his version of events, he said the boy grabbed the gun from his hip, following his mother's lead. Despite the chaos, Pippins said he loved the boy, saying he doesn't entirely blame him and that the child was likely acting out of confusion and the heat of the moment. Lil Durk didn't stay quiet when things got messy in public. He came through with a message saying that family is everything, and during tough times like this, everyone needed to stick together and have each other's backs. Instead of feeding into the drama, he made it clear it's all about unity and keeping the peace. Durk also reminded folks to let the legal system do its thing, saying his main focus right now was being there for his family and making sure his kids were safe and okay. For someone like Durk, who has built a career off his raw storytelling and openness about life's challenges, this response wasn't surprising. He knows his audience and his critics are watching closely, and he's trying to balance being a father, a public figure, and someone who knows the weight of making mistakes. Durk's family situation stays messy and complicated, and this latest drama with his son and Travana just made things worse. With 7 kids and multiple co-parenting setups, you can see how keeping it all balanced isn't easy, especially when you're living under the spotlight. His son with Travana is just one piece of that puzzle, and incidents like this highlight the challenges of keeping everything together in such a high-pressure, high-profile life. Durk's emphasis on sticking together as a family feels personal, especially when you consider the losses he's faced, most notably the deaths of his brother DT Thang and his close friend and collaborator King Von. Durk knows better than most how fragile family and loyalty can be, and his response to this incident reflects that understanding. He's not just trying to protect his son, he's trying to shield his family from the fallout of yet another tragedy. This whole situation really makes you think about the kind of environments kids are being raised in, especially when the spotlight's on. For a 10-year-old to feel the need to grab a gun and fire it, something in that dynamic was already deeply fractured. It's easy to focus on the immediate drama of the moment, but the layers run much deeper. What led to this? What does it say about the relationships within that household? And how does someone like Durk, who's juggling so much, work to fix it? The rapper is still fighting to keep his reputation intact, but his current girlfriend has been a constant source of unwavering support. Current relations. Lil Durk and India Royale's relationship has always been one of those standout stories in hip-hop. Real, messy at times, but undeniably filled with love and loyalty. They first started dating back in 2017, and it didn't take long for their connection to deepen. By the end of that year, India gave birth to their daughter, Willow Banks. That moment marked a turning point for Durk. He's always been vocal about his love for his kids, but something about Willow, his first child with India, brought a softer side of him to the forefront. Durk has described Willow as mean and sneaky, but there's no doubt in anyone's mind that she's got him wrapped wrapped around her little finger. He talks about her like any proud dad, playfully calling her out for her tricks while simultaneously showing just how much she lights up his world. Willow's birth was more than just a milestone for Durk. It was a sign that his life was shifting. His connection with India wasn't just about romance anymore. It was about building a family together. India didn't come into the relationship alone, though. She brought her older daughter Skylar into the mix, and Durk immediately stepped into that role without hesitation. He's referred to Skylar as Big Sky and has made it clear that in his eyes, she's just as much a part of his family as Willow. Durk once joked that Skylar's so sharp, she even tries to teach him how to dress. A little glimpse into how much respect and love he has for her. For Durk, it's never been about biological ties. It's about who's in your corner, and he's been in Skylar's from the start. Their bond as a family grew stronger over the years, but it wasn't until 2021 that Durk made a bold public move to cement his love for India. During his set at Lollapalooza, with thousands of fans watching, Durk stopped the music and brought India on stage. What came next was one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop that year. He looked her in the eyes and poured his heart out, telling her she had been holding him down when he was going through a lot. He called her the realest person in his life and expressed how much he loved her, asking if she wanted to be his wife. India accepted, and the crowd erupted in excitement. That proposal was a grand gesture and a testament to everything they had built together. It showed the world that India was more than just a partner. She was the one Durk leaned on during the toughest moments. Their relationship hasn't been without its challenges, though. Durk has 6 other children from previous relationships, and blending families can be complicated. But Durk has made it clear time and again that he's all in when it comes to his role as a father. He doesn't just show up for Willow and Skylar. He's involved in the lives of all his kids.
Wait, you guys see that? He said F all.
Nobody smacked.
Do I do that? Do it. This for the haters.
Being a dad is at the core of who Durk is. His eldest, Angelo Banks, born in 2011 to ex-Nicole Cavone, holds a special place in his heart. Durk often shares how becoming a young father made him rethink his priorities, showing off their bond through birthdays and sporting events. Zayden, born in 2013, and Dumiri, born in 2014, both have mothers who stay out of the spotlight, but Durk's dedication to them is clear. He makes sure they're involved in family moments and shows the same love and attention to each of his kids. Skylar Banks, born to Tamika Cute in 2014, also has a special place in his life, with Durk often speaking about how much she means to him. For Durk, fatherhood isn't just a title, it's his identity. Even with the pressures of fame and serious legal challenges, he prioritizes his role as a dad. Recently, Zayden took to Instagram to defend his father, showing the world the love and loyalty his kids have for him beyond the headlines. Zayden posted a video of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson supporting Durk, using it to highlight his dad's work with his nonprofit Neighborhood Heroes, which helps underserved communities in Chicago. For Zayden, Durk isn't just a rapper, he's a leader and a loving father. He also made a personal plea, emphasizing that his dad hasn't been convicted and deserves a fair trial, showing both loyalty and hope in his message. And after the devastating loss of his brother D Thang in 2021, Durk stepped up even more, taking in D Thang's children and ensuring they were surrounded by love and support. India, for her part, has been more than just a supportive partner. As a model and entrepreneur, she's built a thriving career of her own. With millions of followers and partnerships with major brands, she's proven that she's more than capable of holding her own in the spotlight. But beyond the glitz and glam, India has been a steady force in Durk's life. She stood by him through highs and lows, offering the kind of stability that's rare in the world they live in. What makes their relationship so compelling is how real it is. They've had their share of ups and downs, but they've always found their way back to each other. Whether it's Durk joking about Willow's antics or gushing over India's loyalty, there's an authenticity to their bond that resonates. It's not perfect, but it's built on love, respect, and a shared commitment to their family. For Durk, India represents more than just love. She's a reminder of what matters most. In a career filled with challenges and a life often marked by chaos, she's been his anchor. Together, they've created something solid, something that lasts, even when the rest of the world feels unstable. And while their story is far from over, one thing is clear. For Durk, India, and their kids are at the heart of everything he does. Lil Durk's legal battles have been all over the headlines lately, but one thing that's clear is the loyalty he's getting from his fiancée, India Royale. When Durk showed up to his latest court hearing, India was right there outside, holding it down for him like she always has. Her presence didn't go unnoticed either. Photos of her outside the courthouse blew up on social media, sparking all kinds of reactions from fans. People were quick to call her out as a real one, praising her for sticking by Durk during what's easily one of the toughest times in his life. One fan posted, that a real man needs that kind of woman, while another described her as a sweet soul, adding that if someone is their girl, she has to hold them down if they ever catch a bid. The support wasn't entirely one-sided though, as some people questioned why her loyalty was being treated like such a big deal, arguing that this is how any real partner should act. One person wrote, asking why people were acting like this was something special, saying every couple should act like this. Still, the majority of fans rallied behind India, calling her the definition of ride or die. Durk and India's relationship has been going strong since 2017, and over the years, she's shown over and over again that she's got his back no matter what. From raising their daughter Willow to standing by him through all his highs and lows, India has proven she's not just about the good times. Her showing up to court was another reminder of just how solid their bond is. The legal situation Durk is dealing with right now is no joke. He's facing some heavy charges, and if the accusations stick, it's looking grim, but India being there sends a clear message. She's not going anywhere. Durk's father was also at the hearing, showing that this is more than just a couple's thing. It's about family sticking together. Durk's legal troubles have everyone talking, including Quando Rondo, who has been tied to the drama. He publicly expressed that they didn't get into the industry just to stay trapped in the street life, emphasizing that they have families and communities counting on them. He stated that it was time to leave all that behind, pointing out how much they had already lost. The statement carried weight, especially considering how much Durk has endured, from losing his brother DT Thang to the constant pressure of staying out of the streets while keeping his career alive. India's presence outside the courthouse wasn't just about support, it was a statement. She didn't need to say a word. Her being there spoke volumes. She's always been a part of Durk's story, not just as his fiance, but as someone who shared in his struggles, celebrated his wins, and stood firm when things got shaky. This moment was just another chapter in their story, showing that no matter what, she's in Durk's corner. And in a world where loyalty can be rare, especially in the industry they're in, that kind of love and dedication hits different. She also had folks buzzing when MO3's former manager, Brandon Rainwater, allegedly hit her up with what might be the most unexpected text of the year, asking for Lil Durk's winter clothes. Yeah, you heard that right, winter clothes. The whole situation popped off when a screenshot of their conversation leaked online, and the reactions? Wild to say the least. So here's how it went down. Rainwater, who managed the late rapper MO3 and built a name for himself in the industry, apparently thought it was a good idea to reach out to India Royale, of all people, to make this bizarre request. Why he thought Durk's fiance was the one to help him stock up on cold weather gear, no one knows. But what's clear is India wasn't having it. Some speculated that Rainwater's strange request was just a sneaky way to shoot his shot with Durk's woman while Durk was out of the picture. Did it work? Absolutely not. Her response was sharp, straight to the point, and exactly what you'd expect from someone who's been holding it down for Durk through thick and thin. While the exact words weren't shared in detail, fans praised her for handling the situation with no-nonsense energy. She made it clear that Rainwater's request was out of line, and her reaction instantly earned her even more respect online. When the screenshot hit Twitter, the internet exploded with opinions. Some folks called Rainwater's move flat-out disrespectful. Others couldn't wrap their heads around why this was even happening. Rainwater didn't come out of this looking too great either, with users clowning him left and right, calling him the ultimate clown. The internet, as always, found humor even in the most bizarre situations. Some joked that Rainwater must have been freezing to make such an out-of-nowhere request, saying that he was probably cold. While a few thought India shouldn't have even bothered responding, most applauded how quickly and decisively she handled the situation. For context, Rainwater isn't just some random name. He managed MO3, helped produce platinum tracks like Outside and Broken Love, and even launched his own label under Empire Records. But his resume didn't give him a pass here, and people weren't shy about calling him out. This whole saga added another layer to India Royale's image as the ultimate ride or die. She's been by Durk's side through countless ups and downs, and moments like these show just how fiercely she protects her family. With Durk currently dealing with serious legal issues, her loyalty and quick wit are shining through more than ever. Whether Rainwater was genuinely cold or just out of pocket, he learned real quick that India isn't handing out freebies, winter clothes or otherwise. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the videos on your screen to dive into more content from our channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more.